welcome to another episode of African Couch Potato, the mashup. I'm still your host, Gino Shelile. Last week, we sat down with Jake Devnarain and we were talking about actor rights. Today, we sit with an award-winning actress who's got a lot of nominations and a lot of experience on screen, but she'll be telling us how she gets to put other people onto the screen, as well as a casting director. Nolwazi Shange is equally comfortable both in front of the camera as talent, as well as behind the camera as a casting director. She's here today. Nolwazi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very well. First things first, congratulations on all of your achievements.
Thank you.
Your nominations as well. Recently, you starred as Nandi on Outlaws. What was that role like for you?
So that was fun, incredibly physical. There is a lot of fight scenes, shooting scenes, rehearsals of the sequence, just that sort of shoot out was shot over 3 days. So it was an incredible amount of fun, discipline, and just working with new actors in the industry, something that greatly excites me. I think we have grown leaps and bounds in the industry in terms of how we even identify talent. And I think it's incredibly important, like just that fusion of seasoned performers. I was working alongside Sabonga Shibe, who I watched when I was younger, and to share the screen with him, but also actors who have come before, even come after myself. It was an incredible experience, like just that exchange of knowledge, exchange of our own experiences. That was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Speaking about exchange of knowledge, what kind of piqued your interest in now wanting to become a casting director?
Casting is something I first of all, I didn't even know it existed. I come from a theatre background. I only started doing TV or film when I moved to Johannesburg and started working here. And I was relatively inexperienced about anything. I didn't even know simple things like continuity. So how I came about casting is Intersections 2. They were casting Intersections 2. I got a call from a director who had worked on the first season, who'd become a friend, Holly Nigiwe, who was like, dude, I just need someone who's going to read in the auditions. And the rate, I think, was like 700 Rand a day. And I was like, what do I have to lose? Then I got there, started seeing the process of identifying talent and what it takes, but also putting my hand up, okay, whatever it is that needed to be done. Okay, we need to print sites, we need to reach out to agents. Okay, I'll do that. I've never done it before, but I'll do that. I'll do that. Start reading scripts, reading character briefs. Actually, I think this person would work here. Like, what do you think? And then when we're having those conversations and working closely with the directors as well, all of a sudden, he started pulling back, and then I was sort of left on my own. Then I'm like, wait, okay, I'm not sure here, I'm not sure. But the producers were very, very comforting. First of all, the idea that I kept putting my hand up for things, they were like, that's a quality we like. And that means that you're someone we can grow with here, that we can groom, but also you seem capable. And then I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? And then dove in and had an incredible amount of fun. There is something so beautiful about translating the text to the reality, right? To the end product, matching an actor to the script, but also matching the actor to the production itself, because it's not all actors who would be suitable for a 13 part, for example, or a telenovela. Some performers are more suited or have more of a sensibility for theatre or for film. So it's just also understanding that whether it's the actor's range, it's the actor's interest in the type of performer they are. If you are someone who likes to take time exploring the art form and the craft and rehearsing, that may be a 13 part where you're having to shoot maybe 15 or even like an episode a day. Maybe that might not work for you. Then maybe you're more suited to a film where you can be able to shoot 6 scenes a day, for example.
Weren't you a part of Intersections on screen?
On the first one.
On the first one. So what is that transition? Do you not look at some roles and maybe the person you wanted it for is struggling to get it, or you just fall in love with that role and feel like, Ish, I wish I could manifest this personally?
I mean, it happens. So, first of all, over time, I very much developed the skill to separate Nolwazi, the performer, and Nolwazi, the casting director. The decisions that I make when I'm casting are very different to the decisions I would make as a performer. So, casting for me, I don't know, it just like very like systematic, very clinical. This is what is required here. This is the character brief. Ooh, this character sounds meaty. Okay, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind something like this. But wait, hold on. There is this performer who has this quality, and then there's that performer. You know what I mean? And then you start like going through that audition process, and then once you get to that audition process, in fact, like even from the moment you send out the brief, I don't know. For me, it immediately it's completely separate from Nolwazi, the performer. Like that's not me that's sending out that, that's not the actress.
But with what you're saying, so in essence, a casting director matches performer to paper.
Yes.
Is there some form of performance coaching once you've matched someone? So let's say, for example, you're going to take Tim Ghost and you're like, you're going to be great for this role. Is there an additional element of coaching him to say, for you to fully make sense of this character, you need to go live in the woods for 3.5 days and only eat Kellogg's cornflakes, and then you would have mastered it?
So, I mean, not to that extent, right? But I think definitely newer performers sometimes do need that, but also just to be able to gain the confidence of performing on screen. Sometimes it's easier to do it when you're at home in front of your mirror, you just have your phone there. But when the screen is there and there's the sound person on the sound desk right in front of you, there's a boom swinger with the boom hanging there, you know what I mean? And then there's the groups walking up and down behind you. The like VT is right there.
AD is shouting.
AD is shouting. Sometimes you are shooting exterior scenes and there's just passerbys who decide to stop and watch. And then that can make you incredibly self-conscious. How do you as a performer block all of that out and still be able to give to this character what it requires? So it's really just that. It's finding your feet, being comfortable enough to still be able to explore, express your skill set even within this situation. People ask, and it's such a silly question, I find, like with kissing scenes. What does that feel like? It's like, do you understand how technical that is? There is zero opportunity to catch feelings. You have to kiss, your heads have to be facing a certain way because the camera must capture the kiss from a certain way. But then also you're performing, right? Because the kiss, it's not just a kiss. It's saying something. You could be kissing someone, but actually this is not someone you want to kiss. Yes. Or you're thinking about something else that's happening. So you're here, but you're also not here. And then there's a camera and then there's sound. And then sometimes you have to do it multiple times. So it's not cute. Like, but it's not I don't know.
What if now you're kissing somebody you want to kiss? How do you blot that out?
First of all, I think you are a dangerous performer. If you find on a script you have to kiss an actor and already you are checking, I want to see who this person is.
Six pack.
You know what I mean? You're dangerous. Then you're not the right person for that role because immediately your intention is not right.
Yes.
Your intention should be to tell the story. The second your intention is, I'm going to use this character to steal the kiss from this person, for me feels like a violation of sorts. You actually can't be doing that. It's not okay. But also take charge, I find. When you get to a set, luckily now we are in an age of intimacy coordinators who have existed in the international realm for a while and have recently been introduced in our South African industry. And every time I encounter them, I'm like, where have you been? Because now we can be able to have honest conversations with the intimacy coordinator about what you're comfortable with, whatever you're uncomfortable with, without it feeling like you are criticizing the script or whatever it is. So I'm comfortable being touched, like there's red and green zones. Where are you comfortable being touched? And then you would assume, right, that men would be excited when they read kissing scenes, right? Then you find they're actually not, but they don't feel safe enough, or you can't really share it because you're a guy, right? You're supposed to, you know what I mean? Like you
Must
put
be
on this.
macho.
Exactly. But when you have the intimacy coordinator, you are able to share with them, I'm not comfortable, right? I'm not comfortable with tongue. This is where in my body I would prefer to be touched. I don't like showing certain parts of my body, whether it's my arms, it's my back, or whatever. And then the intimacy coordinator will then communicate it to production in a way that doesn't make you as a performer look bad and still keeps you safe. So making suggestions. So this is what I think. I think maybe we should shoot it like this, like this, like this, and then, and making suggestions based on the feedback you have given them as performers.
Yeah. And if you now find somebody who corpses mid-performance and they're just not able to come to the party in that way, and they haven't been able to come to the party in that way for a couple of days, is there an option to remove that scene?
During a kissing scene,
let's say,
everything,
an intimacy scene. So let's say it's not even full-on sex that's being portrayed.
Yeah.
It's just the build-up to.
And
so
you are
the
laughing.
kissing and the frolicking and the what.
How you are costing production money. You're costing production money. Every minute you're on set is money.
But is it taken into consideration? Sorry, like to say,
definitely
I'm feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely taking into consideration. It's a conversation that should happen prior to the scene. And if there isn't a intimacy coordinator, either speak up yourself or have your agent speak up for you. So there are certain things you're not comfortable with. In fact, this should even be something that is mentioned right from the negotiation phase. Ask questions. Is there going to be intimacy? I'm going to be showing my body in any way. And then already you are able to get a sense of the character, what the character is going to require, and have honest conversations with yourself about whether you would like to continue or not, or reach out to production to have an honest conversation in terms of what your comfortabilities and what your boundaries are. I find there is a lot that can be said. Those conversations can be had. It's about when you have them and how you have them. If, for example, it's right there on set, right before the scene, it's been blocked and you were seemingly fine, and then now you're on set, you have an issue, then it's like, oh, okay, but you had an opportunity. Yeah, you said you were fine, right? And then even then you have an opportunity to say, okay, pause. I know I said I'm comfortable with this, but now that I'm here, I'm finding I'm not okay. Is there a way we can work around it, right? So now that's different than saying, no, you know what I mean? Like I'm walking away, I'm being violated. You're just coming back to say, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. These are my boundaries. Can we find a way around this and work around it as a production? Then you're working on it together, and it's our story, right? It's our movie, it's our film. We all want this to look good, to make sense, and for everyone to be safe. So now there's definitely a lot of opportunities and avenues to protect actors, but also to protect the production itself. Losing money is losing time, and then you as a performer as well are being placed in a situation where you are not comfortable, and that's something that also needs to be considered.
On the other side of being physical, let's say now it's roles like your role as Nandi, where there's a lot of shooting, a lot of running, a lot of tough physical things that you have to do. Is it also the same conversation where you can say, listen, I'm not a combat artist. I'm not good with guns. Can I get training beforehand? How do I shoot a rifle? How do I hold a shotgun and things like that?
So there's two things. First of all, I think as performers, we should take some sort of the training. We should take responsibility for that. And it's come from a very simple principle of mine. Prepare yourself for the blessings you're praying for. There are certain roles that you want. Let's say you are looking for international work. You won't even be able to audition without the basic knowledge of the accent. So they might put you through training to do the accent work, but what work have you done, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that costs you money. You can even go online. There's YouTube now that is a great tool to view accents and then mimic that. So if you can be able to go to a shooting range once in 2 months, like just to gain comfortability handling a rifle. On set, if there is a rifle, standard procedure is to have someone there, like
A handler.
yes, a handler to, you know what I mean, ensure that the gun is safe, you know what I mean, but also teach you how to hold the gun. So like that's standard. You will always have that support. If you're expected to shoot a gun with or to fire like fire it without having those safety measures on set, then you're able to say, you know what I mean, I'm not sure if I feel safe here.
Yes.
Is it possible to have like a professional here to make sure? You know, accidents happen on set. There was the one of the Baldwin brothers that happened on a set where he accidentally shot someone. You know what I mean? So a lot of things can happen. So the production also needs to take precautions there. So I don't know, for me, I'm not a small girl, but I also enjoy challenges. And I was like, I'm going to kick butt at this. You know what I mean? Like, I was incredibly excited about doing it. Luckily, I'd handled a firearm in the previous role, but it's also something I'm comfortable with because I've had the training. So it was relatively easier for me to do it. And I was like, let's do it. Also like with close-ups, right? Okay, so there was at some point a conversation of getting a double for me because I had to leave and we were shooting in Bergville. And then I remember at that night calling the producer and be like, it doesn't feel right walking away. So I'm going to, in fact, my nanny was leaving, so my child is going to be left alone at home. And I spoke to them. And they arranged for my daughter to be brought on set so I could be there on set, because I was like, it does not feel right. We've been shooting this for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden just having someone who's not me there. Just changes the dynamics on set and the energy on set. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want that for anyone. I want to be there. I want to start it and finish it.
As a casting director, when you're performing, I know you said it's like very different mindsets, but is there a part of you that as a performer, you're still cognizant of the next person? So you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, or when you can see that maybe the energy is too low, you're able to bring it up?
100%. You have to be aware of that. As a performer, you have to be aware of that. As a casting director, you have to be aware of that. You can't be so consumed with what you have rehearsed, with what you know, that you also are not aware of your surroundings. I believe that's what makes you a better performer, to react instinctively to the people around you. There are some people who might walk on a set and feel intimidated by your stature, for example. You know what I mean? You can't not be aware of that. And it's okay to just bring people in, or whether it's during lunch or you're going to grab craft, just get a bottle of water. Hey, let's go grab a bottle of water together. Like just to break the ice a bit. Yeah, want to get people comfortable, you know what I mean? Start talking to them. It's not an easy thing. I know for myself, I'm a very reserved person. So whenever I meet people for the first time, I find I'm naturally, you know what I mean? And that can freak people out a bit. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know, she's a bit weird or whatever. So I've had to be aware of that when I'm on a set, right? Just find a moment to center myself and almost give myself permission to open up, right? So, okay, you've got to be aware of this. Not as you are walking into a set where people don't know you, or you're meeting someone for the first time, like just try open up a bit so that it assists whilst working together.
We're speaking with Nolwazi Shange, who is an actress and casting director. In a second, she's going to be telling us about her favorite roles. Going back to you as a thespian,
Yes.
a performer, an actress, an actor, what has been some of your favorite roles? Mine was Udesi on Otelo Burning.
Okay.
And I like Otelo Burning because also I followed Thomas Gumeda quite a bit. So just seeing him on screen, because he's also a director now.
Yeah.
And just your growth, both of you, from you started on screen, you still are on screen, even though you do a bit of behind the scenes. But how was that role? I know you're speaking about my favorite role of you, and then you can tell me about your own favorite roles.
Otelo Burning is the first feature film I shot. It was a couple of months into moving to Johannesburg. And then I was also shooting back home in Durban. So that was incredibly exciting to work on a project like that, where also I'm home and I'm speaking my first language, a feature film. We're all living in a house together. I was the only girl in the cast. So living in the house together with all these boys. And that was fun. In fact, I'm still close to all of them. They took on the role of being a brother to me. I think out of all of us, I was one of the newest faces in the industry. So there's a lot also I didn't know. And in my first role ever, I worked with Thomas on a place called Home.
Yes.
So we had that relationship before where I was like walking into a set like, oh, what's all of this? What's happening? And then we meet again on Otelo Burning. So that was incredibly exciting. But I think it was easier then. We didn't have the pressure of social media. I think even Facebook, I don't know if it was Facebook. Was yeah.
Otelo was 2013.
Yeah, I mean, it was still like in the era of BBM.
Yes, WhatsApp was still new.
Yeah, WhatsApp was still new.
I think we all just joined Twitter.
Yeah,
something like that.
So it was about the work then. You didn't have the outside pressure of anything to live up to any standards. It was about, what is this? What are we wanting to achieve? What do we want it to look like? Okay, let's go. And we're all going to hold each other's hands throughout this process. So I feel like I started in the industry almost at a perfect time. And I was able to hone my skills away from societal pressures, that even by the time we were opened up to social media, I had a stronger understanding of who I am, the type of performer I am, and more of a connection to myself. My favorite role, I don't know, but I think of that time when I started out very fondly, just moving to Johannesburg. Oh, first of all, let's talk about Place Called Home. So, Place Called Home, I auditioned for a different role to what I was cast for. I had no idea that the actress Ulala Tangazele, who now has a PhD and is an academic, was leaving the show. So then I ended up taking over her role. And I walk into a set and there's Roninya Kale, who's fresh off Yizo. And I was home watching Yizo. Well,
trying to,
because we weren't really allowed to watch it. So I walk into a set and he's playing my brother. Most of my scenes are with him. And I'm like, okay. But in my head, I also had this thing of I'm here for a reason. So I'm also not going to shortchange myself. I'm going to learn as much as possible from this experience. But also I didn't know tiny things like if I hold my glass on a certain line, you know what I mean, on my left hand, I have to do it for every single take. I don't know basic things like that. And in that way, everyone else sort of rallied around me and was teaching me all of those things through doing it. Or even in a scene, you'll have someone just sort of nudging me towards my position because I had shifted from my mark. You know, so just tiny things like that. So I think of that time very fondly because I don't know, even if there was competition, it never felt like competition. It felt like you were very welcome. Let's work. Let's tell great stories. You know what I mean? It was just about just the purity and the earnesty of the work.
With society or social media, what are some of those social pressures?
I don't know if I have felt pressure as much as I do see it with just generally, right? Society in terms of how successful you need to look like you are. For example, even in just the way that you dress and how you present yourself, how you speak to people, that I don't know. I feel like it's just shifted from the core of who we are as human beings. It's almost like now we're performing in front of the screen, but also off screen as well.
Yes.
So you don't really have time where you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
It always feels like there's a camera on you, even when there isn't. So I think like that's the uncomfortable era we've moved into, but I also think it's such a pity because it's taking away from honest connections, just from us being human beings in our simplest and most basic form.
Would you say it's damaging in a way? Because now, like you're saying, it's like the spotlight is always on you, even when there's no cameras. So now, just walking to the shop, I can't be wearing amakasa tabgile. Just like going to get my car washed, I have to go wash it at like a valet because the character I play maybe is well off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a freelance actor. It's not like I'm getting bags every month.
It does. It does a bit. It does. Because like I could just be wearing flip-flops. Yeah, but now it needs to be a certain kind of flip-flop.
A special kind of flip-flop.
Yeah, it can't just
Must
be
be
a flip-flop.
Crocs.
Yeah, it must be a flip-flop. I want an elevated flip-flop.
Yes.
So that you can look like something. Meanwhile, you're just going to buy bread down the street. And no one is saying leave home in your pajamas. Please don't do that. That's just
Or
not
walk
cute.
out in a gown.
In a gown, guys.
Around the complex.
No, please don't
And you're
do
waiting
that.
for the school bus to come and pick up your kids.
It's not cute.
Usapagi dugu.
Yo, guys, like I cannot say this enough. And I know it's a sidebar. Please stop doing that. If you are the person who even steps out of your door in a gown. Oh, guys, I remember a time like when you grew up, it was like you walking around the house, you're wearing pajamas and you have your parents shout at you. Like, why are you even, it's like leaving your room without making your bed? Like, it's not cute. Stop it. Anyway, it frustrates me so much.
Public service announcement.
Like, yes, it's definitely that. So it's that. It's like now I've got to think a million times in terms of like, what even am I going to wear? How am I going to present myself? And then you look at an actor's salary, it's not that much. But also actors don't really get salaries. You book a gig, you get what you get at the time, and maybe there might be a break between the next gig. You know what I mean? And it's tough. So now during that quiet time, there's also now this character that you have to live up to, because of society. And I just think it's sad. I have a 16-year-old daughter who I have tried very much to keep away from social media as much as possible. I'm like, first of all, you're a teenager. It's a very impressionable phase of your life. But I also don't want you on social media and adding on to the already existing pressure. I mean, she was a typical teenager and went and got social media without me knowing. Yeah, I mean, such is life. But then we had to have an honest conversation of what this means, that you might find yourself wanting to live up to someone's standard, a standard that doesn't even exist. So you need to be careful and cognizant of that at all times, that what I am measuring my life to is not even there. That standard doesn't even exist. So you must always have a very firm understanding of who you are. Always come back to that. Like find a way to return to center. Who am I? What are my values? What are my interests? What is my voice? Like amongst all of this noise, don't ever allow it to get so loud that you lose sight of yourself or you can't hear your own voice.
What you're saying now about social media is I feel like we are slowly going to that point where everything we do, we feel like needs to be recorded. There's like this culture of self-broadcasting and people must see what I'm drinking. They must see that I've just woken up, or they must see that I'm sleeping. They must see that I'm eating, or they must see that I'm starting a diet. And you wanting to keep your daughter away from that, I commend you for, but there's a lot of performers all around, like even if it's like music performers, album rapper who have this thing still to say, if I'm going to buy milk, I still have to I must walk his nigga. I must walk his rap. Like I can't be found lacking. I can't be found soft. Anyways, word of wisdom out of the way. Where can people get hold of you?
They can find me on social media.
Right, so after all of this anti-social media, the first point of contact, I thought you were going to say email address at least.
Okay, I am on social media. I'm a post and go. Social media terrifies me, and then I'll post today, and then I'll disappear for like a month, and I'll come back and I'll post a selfie, and then I'm that person. Unless I have something to say, then I'll say something. I'm on Instagram, Nolwazi Shange, and I'm on Twitter, Nolwazi Ngubeni. There is a confusion with my name.
There is a big confusion. I think on the invite, I said Shange Ngubeni because I did not know what to refer to you as.
Nolwazi Shange.
Shange.
Yes.
Okay, Ngubeni previous.
No, it's just I got married and then I was like, change my name, and then I changed my name and I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I like how it sounds. And then I was like, okay, let me double barrel it. So I was like, oh, okay, that also doesn't sound cute. So I just banged the table.
Yeah.
PSA, I was instructed not to bang the table and I just banged the table. So sorry.
But how do you tell a Zulu man that you don't like his surname?
It's just, I don't know. There's something about Nolwazi Shange, man.
Yeah, it's
something.
Madonna. Britney Spears, not Britney Spears Matthews.
Would you understand?
Yes.
So yes, Nolwazi Shange. It's also more personal to me. I was raised by my grandparents, who are the first people to identify I have any sort of talent, and were the people to really hone it, drop me off at rehearsals. Like I started performing when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was like the busiest kid at home. Like over the weekends, either I have rehearsals, I'm performing at school, I'm finishing like late at night. So it was them really who believed in me and made sure that I did it. Even like after high school, when most parents would steer their children away from the arts, they were like, what else is she going to do? This is what she knows, what she's been doing all her life. It's so obvious that this is her journey, that this is her purpose. So for me, it always felt weird moving away from that because it felt like I was moving away from my foundation. Yeah.
And also, I believe that there's power in a name, and if you've built a name, Nolwazi Shange, it's not to take away from your husband, but it's just that's in essence who the world knows.
Yeah.
And if you're going to build a career of just being Madonna, you've dropped even your own parents' surname. Now you must go pick up somebody else's surname. And you've worked so hard to build your brand.
You understand? So it's like, I
love you, bro. Do you have any parting shots?
I do. Okay, so first of all, when you get on a set as a performer, please respect your crew. The crew is possibly the most hardworking people on that set. Leave home way before everyone, even get a set way before everyone else does. When you get in the car and you're dropped off or you're driving yourself, they will remain on set. And mostly do it at minimum wage. And I think the least we could do is just show respect and kindness. But also to everyone else on the set. Respect everyone you meet. Respect everyone you encounter. Respect everyone you work with. The person you bump into today who's cleaning your dressing room could be your boss tomorrow. The industry is incredibly small, and don't do it because the industry is small, because you are banking and investing for tomorrow, but do it because as human beings, that is how we should treat each other.
Thank you so much. I couldn't have closed this episode better. That was Nolwazi Shange. I will be chatting to you guys in the next episode, where I will be giving you top 5 things to watch on every single platform so that you are not bored. I'm still your host, Gino Shelile. Until next time, goodbye.